There you go, Brian. We are off and racing for round one of the National Rugby League. We've got a long journey to go. Profound statements being made in round one.
26 rounds.
And can I just, Brian, can we just bring it in?
Yes.
And this was a ploy. This was a ploy where you see there's many thousands of people who are going tipping cons.
Yep.
And you pulled me aside. You said, Jolly, I'm sensing upsets in round one. Why don't we stage a competition where we want you to pick the losers?
Well, that's what we tried to do.
Yeah. And then at that point, all of our cohort and alumni will be leading the competition. And anyone who followed you, who tried to pick the losers, they are leading every competition in Australia. Is that right, Brian?
Well, you had to. Yeah.
You take ownership.
No, we wanted to have a competition rather than doing the norm.
Well, we're never going to do the competition. You wanted people just to start that way.
Yeah.
And you did.
No, I didn't. I wanted a legit competition. But Brooksy never got around it. I said, Brooksy, produce something.
Nil by fulfillment.
Your title actually has produce in it. It says produce. I said, let's get it going. No. It was a competition, but you wouldn't want this. We didn't want that competition because the competition was a golf sort of format. Yeah. The lower the better score. Yeah, but you would have gone the opposite. Yeah. George Costanza, tuning on Rye, blah, blah, blah. I live at home with my mum. And all of a sudden he's porking her in Nebraska. He did. That's what he did in the episode of Seinfeld. Come on, Sugar, let's get back in.
Okay, right, let's do this. Okay, round one, aka Bellamy round. This is unbelievable, Brian.
I honestly did not. As soon as Munster was out, I was that keen on Penrith.
I reckon Munster was probably fine, and then Bellyache said, come on, let's really test this out. Nelson, no, you're out. Bellyache, Pap, you sure you want to play? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's see how we go. And sure enough, death taxes Bellamy round one. This is like, seriously, I'm gonna crunch the numbers in the break, but if they were $1.50 pops in each of those rounds, I'm going to give you a price as to what that 22-leg multi would at. 22nd straight round one win for Craig Bellamy.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
But that's the way you said it. Didn't you say Cooper Cronk said they pretty much play a different sort of football in the early rounds?
I take zero ownership. About 7 years ago, I heard Cooper Cronk saying that all they do is, while everyone else is reinventing the wheel, which the Knights, I was so keen on the Knights. And then straight away, I thought, okay, Bradman Best threw a Yorker to Greg Marzu. Kalen Ponga's throwing it out the back. 3 kicks out in the full. I thought, okay, these guys are playing round 27 football. Melbourne Storm, Canberra Raiders, just bash down the door and we'll see at the 80-minute mark.
That's the way to do it too, isn't it? Early doors.
Of course.
It's very hard. It was very down there in Melbourne. Penrith, terrible in the wet now. They're so bad in the wet. We saw they got beat by the Tigers last year. They got beat in the Challenge Cup. Yep. They got beat over there in England. Although it wasn't rainy down there, it looks quite wet and dewy.
Their mudder's not a mudder?
Not a mudder's not a mudder. But in good news, Taylor May was the best player on the field.
Yeah. What about Izack Tago? The news about him. So there's news around Izack Tago being the highest paid centre in the comp. I love Izack Tago.
Joey Manu?
How can he be the highest, like in a regime that is so efficient?
Where did this come from? Where did this mole come from?
Might have been the mole. I need to clarify.
Which mole? There's a lot of moles out there.
Brooksy's the mole.
Are you the mole?
No.
I don't believe that.
Okay, we'll find out.
You're reading the paper. Are you reading this?
I'm reading the Jonathan Raper.
This was Philip Rothfield.
Yeah, what's he come up with?
So, the Buzzinator.
Now, credit the paper, Brian. You can't just go waxing lyrically.
Okay, the Daily Telegraph.
Page what?
So, the Buzzinator said he's on 500. Joseph Manu's on 1.1.
For what?
The centres. You're saying the highest paid centre.
Per year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the new payday?
I think this is Buzz. Oh, no, sorry. Buzz is just doing what he thinks is it's their appraisals. Their appraisals.
Righto.
So he's just doing himself, but he's pretty good. Well, I think you've made that up, Sugar.
No, I'm telling you, mate.
Tell then. Tell us your...
No, it's being reported.
Tell us your Josh Mann source.
Mate, the producer will come up with that very shortly.
Have you got this, Brooks?
My Josh Mann source?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Brooks is going to come up with very, very shortly. And I'd love him to come into the room. And,
okay, I'd say Herbie's on more money than him. I would say Valentine Holmes is on more money than him. I would say Joseph Manu's on more money. I would even say Jack Whiten's on more money than him.
I agree.
Here he comes.
But here he comes.
Come on, Brooks.
So the Sydney Morning Herald have said that he's signed a 4-year, $3 million contract, which puts him as one of the highest centres in the NRL, paid centres.
I don't believe he's on that much money.
$750?
Nope.
Would you pay him that?
Nope.
Do you need to pay him that?
He's not a rep player. Yeah,
No.
that's rep money.
Yeah, and you're a centre.
Left of.
Yeah.
No, I can't get around that.
Anyway, that's the word going around. The Premier's scoreless. Can you believe that? Can you believe they are scoreless? Now, Brian, I have the Panthers running 5th this year, and I got absolutely castigated about it. It's early doors, I know. To be fair, I also had the Knights running top 4, so it's not all about patting them in the back. But are you with me or you're against me? Are the Panthers top 4 or not?
I have them in my top 4, yes.
Still?
I still do.
Still do.
Yep.
Okay. We've got the Eel. So next up, they've got the Eels, who is a massive Achilles heel. They've got the Broncos, who they met in the grand final. They've got the Roosters. The Storm host the Warriors on Saturday night at Amy Park. Now, the Cowboys defeat the Dolphins 43-18, 32,000 at Suncorp. A 7-try demolition for the Cowboys, 5 in the first half. It was 30-something in the first half. Zac Lomax, that little dummy flick pass, that was the Michael, wasn't it?
It is. Wasn't it? Gidley-like. I never saw Gids do that. I've seen Gids offload it.
But not a dummy.
No. Zac Lomax has got one of those. Just getting back to...
Zac Lomax, not Lomax.
Zac Lomax. No.
Oh, he has too.
Zac Lomax has got one.
He has.
But just getting back to the Panthers, like I know we're all saying, you're saying you're going to 5th and blah, blah, blah. They should have won that game. But they defended as well, obviously as well as Melbourne. But the try where...
when they put the kick through when Soni Luke scored?
Yes. It was Hughes, Jerome Hughes.
Jerome Luai?
Jerome Hughes came out and they were saying that he was obstructed.
Yeah, he wasn't.
No. He wasn't obstructed.
That's a try.
So, and then they went up the other end.
Yep.
They got that fluky Highland fluky. They took that one. So, I don't think it's all bad for Penrith.
No, it's certainly not all bad.
And they've got the defence to win the next 4 games.
Yep.
In the sense that if the opposition is playing that round 27 football, as you like to call it, that their defence is always going to outweigh and they'll always win a team playing round 27 football.
Yep. Exactly right. So don't make outlandish... Well, you can. But just be mindful of making outlandish statements this early. Wayne Bennett has his former club, the Dragons, coming up. The coach of the Dolphins, here's what he had to say.
This week to turn things around for your next home game?
Keep us stable. Don't overreact, and make sure we don't listen to the media and read any papers or watch any television. That's our plan for the week.
Never done that one, have you?
I'm good at that.
It's too good.
He's too good, but the concerns I had, Brian, was that they're an old team in the forwards.
Old pack, yeah.
You with me?
Agreed.
With Tommy Gilbert, like if you got Flegler there, Tommy Gilbert and so forth, but you take Tommy Gilbert out, it's a running back analogy in the NFL. It's an old team. And I can understand when you start a new franchise, you want the old heads, right? But if they're not starting well, so I thought to myself, they're a really old team in the pack, but maybe round 1, that's an advantage because they've been there, done it. But if you're not getting it done in round 1, they have won 3 of their last 14 last year.
Yeah,
that's a concern.
They look tired. And remember the round 1 last year? There was 50,000 at Suncorp. They played the Chooks, absolutely lapped them.
Yep.
I mean, Wayne Bennett will get them up again, no doubt. But I didn't have them in my 8, as I had them finishing about 11th.
Yeah.
11th or 12th.
It's going to be hard. There's no doubt about that. So the Cowboys have got the Knights next, so let it be written, so let it be told. I think the Knights will beat them. I know they're going to be despised outsiders, but I think the Knights, who played round 27 football in a night game, the Cowboys, everything's stuck in a day game. This is in a 5:30 up there, 6:30 up there. Twilight game. I think the Knights are a red-hot chance. Kalen Ponga, the former Cowboys junior, I will be tipping the Knights, just so you know. Dolphins host the Dragons at KO Stadium.
Dolphins host the Dragons.
I think I want to be on the Ben Hunt train. I just think between the two, if everything levelled out, I want to have Ben Hunt on my side. Thoughts?
Yep. No, he was terrific. Kyle Flanagan was really good as well. And they defended like a Shane Flanagan team, didn't they? They had all the ball, the Titans, there in the first half, and they just sort of stuck it out. So, but this is the beauty of rugby league. Every week changes. Oops.
Zac Lomax. This is hard, right? So, and this is where even kids, it's just a number. Like winger's a job in the team. I had a parent ring me up saying, my son's been put in the wing. What do you bloody do? It's an important role in the team. It's not a demotion. It's an important role in the team.
I think he's got his head around it. And the way he played, he's got his head around it.
He was enormous.
He played
one of the best games he's ever played.
Yep. He's a big body. I tell you what, I did like how he came off his wing a la Tinga Blacklock.
Yeah.
He was coming from the right wing, sniffing around in the inside.
Yep.
Big kid.
Big kid.
I didn't realise how big he is. So maybe that's all he needed. Maybe he just needed a good game there and to realise that wing isn't as bad. And it's the old adage. I mean, it was a joke we used to say. They used to just be muscly touch judges.
Yep.
And who are wingers? Well, they're the guys that hang around footballers. But the times have changed. I know we make fun of wingers, but now they are an important ingredient.
It's a massive part of the game.
Yep.
Like all the best teams, Brian Totter has been part of the side, and there's this perception that wingers not so much good. Eels 26 defeat the Bulldogs 8, 4 tries to 2. Eels were clearly the better team throughout. There was a try through Morgan Harper, kick set up, just got it down, which you got to put yourself in that position in the first place. Jamin Salmon lets one go. So there's 2 of the tries. Bryce Cartwright got the other 2. Good performance from the Eels. Bulldogs gritty, but lacking attack.
And lacking a big body through the middle.
Yep.
They're just lacking a big front rower who can get them on the front foot. I know they've got the great outside backs and they've got all these utilities, but they're just too big front rowers short.
Yep.
Just to punch them through the middle.
Yep.
So, I mean, if they had a Nelson type player.
Well, what's your idea?
My idea that if you run last and you get Nelson for however many games,
you pull the wild card.
You can pull the wild card, but you can only play 2 games. You can only get Nelson for 2 games. You got to hold your fire.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
You can have Nelson for two games, and the Bulldogs might need him this week.
That's good. By the way, Josh Adokar, collarbone. He didn't return in the second half. Mitch Moses played through a groin issue, so we'll keep an eye on those ahead of round 2 of the National Rugby League. Of course, the Raiders 28 upset the Knights 12. What a scoreline that was. That was the NRL Round preview. Make your game day legendary at Fortress. Visit fortress.games or drop into Fortress Sydney. SEN League, by the way, is back Thursday. What a game this is going to be. Broncos take on the Rabbitohs at Suncorp Stadium.